In times of turmoil and chaos, when it's difficult to make sense of the world around you, society feels like it's ripping apart at the seams. We've got war, pandemic, environmental degradation, a loneliness epidemic, economic downturn, and political turmoil. It feels like life is a big joke. And you are the punchline. In the wake of all this uncertainty, we seek comfort in the absurd and nonsensical. Art becomes surreal and abstract and sometimes meaningless. It speaks what cannot be spoken with words. And in the modern world, that art is internet brain rot.
Capu, capu, cappuccino, assassino!
Watermelon mulch. Very delightful. Tastes so good. Yummy. Very mulchy.
Mulch gang for life.
These coward fish are making our country look bad.
My Sigma greedy from the Black Ops tell my side anywhere you go.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This, most definitely a lafufu. Fake as fuck. But what I'm about to tell you is real. Most of this stuff is vapid nonsense made for children or boomers on Facebook that can't tell the difference between what's real and AI-generated slop. But please, keep an open mind here. The content that's created in the digital space tells us so much more about the world around us than we give it credit for. Much like Gutenberg's printing press revolutionized the written word in 15th century Europe, easy access to digital tools like Capcut, Canva, Davinci Resolve, Photoshop, and yes, AI have made creating short-form video and imagery something almost anyone can do.
When you first open Davinci Resolve, you'll see this screen. You are in the Cut tab, which is useless.
But short-form creators need vertical video. So click File and Project Settings, and you need click. Use vertical resolution.
Yeah, bro, that cool. But we will work with a clip with sound. TikTokers love to cut the dead space between talking, so let's do that.
I want the clip to have music. Sabrina Carpenter sounds nice, so drag and drop the song file into the audio track below the spoken voice.
With new tools and technology at our fingertips, we've been able to produce media at a scale not seen before. In October of 2024, Oxford Dictionary named its word of the year as brain rot. They defined it as a supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as a result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. But to the terminally online, this doesn't tell the whole story. It's not just a mental condition, it's a particular genre of content. You kinda know it when you see it. It ranges from absurd parodies of celebrities, historical figures, or fictional characters saying the strangest things, to bizarre gaming footage, to meaningless images combined together. Animals are a common theme, especially cats. The internet has always loved cats. A lot of this content is designed to farm views and attention, to get you to watch just long enough so that the creator can earn ad revenue. But some of it is just done for the love of the game. Brain rot content is often short, chaotic, colorful, distracting, and messy. Often, it has little to no dialogue. And when it does, it's filled with slang, buzzwords, and coded language that the average viewer may not even comprehend.
No, because it's low-key Claro shade that I turned 19 in Poland with Julie Ragbeer and clocked a gag at the 97-year-old diner that serves Onika burgers the old-fashioned way, where I filled up to paint on DL Trade, which was so demure brat that fell out of a coconut tree of me.
And this transcends culture. You don't even have to understand what language it is in to find it funny, weird, or off-putting.
Ballerina cappuccina. Mi. È la moglie di Cappuccino Assassino.
It is designed to be viewed through the lens of your phone screen. You don't seek it out, it comes to you, served up via the infinite scroll algorithms on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. This gives it broad appeal and makes it easy to consume without thinking much about it. A quick search of brain rot on TikTok comes up with shit like this. In a world that's increasingly chaotic and stressful, the absurdity of brain rot allows the viewer to sort of turn off their mind and disconnect from the harsh reality around them. This isn't a new phenomenon. Throughout history, in times of uncertainty, media reflects that, becoming surreal and escapist. In the late 15th century, the Netherlands was under foreign dynasties, whose authoritarian rule led to rebellion. In this environment, painter Hieronymus Bosch came of age. He became known for unhinged and obscene works of art that were religious in nature, often seen as disturbing and horrific. When he was 13, his entire hometown burned down in a violent fire. This tragedy, along with the tense political climate of the time, contributed to his work's disturbing nature. Grotesque faces, nonsensical structures, and bright colors made his work controversial, but they captured the anxieties of his world in a way that logic and reason could not. Does this sound familiar? Modern creators use editing tools and AI to distort the faces of animals, celebrities, and fictional characters in ways that resemble the works of this Dutch master. Fast forward to late 19th and early 20th century Britain, a time of intense social and technological change, with industrialization and democratic reforms shaping society. A popular artist at the time was Louis Wayne. He got his start in the 1880s, drawing cute images of anthropomorphic animals, especially cats. His works were published in various magazines and newspapers, loved by both children and adults. After the death of several of his family members, along with living during the terror of World War I, his mental health began to decline. As he slowly descended into madness, his work became more and more bizarre. The cats became distorted. He used bright colors and psychedelic patterns, and near the end of his life, he was committed to a mental hospital. Eventually, his works barely resembled cats at all. Do you see where I'm going with this? That's right. Cats have been a staple of online media since the beginning, and a huge part of brain rot is the sheer number of ways people have depicted cats, manipulating their image to extremes that mimic the same descent into madness of Louis Wayne over 100 years ago. It's like we are all collectively going insane and using our favorite little furry friends as a way to cope. These are just two examples of how uncertain times impact the artistic expression of the people who live through them. Much can be said about similar art movements. Dadaism and the surrealists after World War I and the Spanish flu pandemic, pop art in the 1960s, punk music in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, all of these arose in response to significant social and technological upheavals and were hated by mainstream critics at the time, written off as weird, offensive, or just plain stupid.
Job, sahur, job application for you, bitch.
In the same way, a lot of online content, especially short form, is treated like slop. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the internet is full of crappy AI-generated content and other garbage with no meaning or substance. But a lot of this stuff is deeper than you might think at first glance. Case in point, Skibidi Toilet. This YouTube series, created by the user DaFuckBoom in 2023, was made in an app called Source Filmmaker, which uses assets and the engine from various games like Half-Life, Gmod, and Team Fortress. In it, a disturbing group of toilets with singing human heads inside of them are hellbent on taking over the world. Their rivals are called the Cameramen, human bodies with cameras and various other electronics on their heads. In each episode, the conflict escalates, with both sides bringing larger and more advanced weapons to the fight, destroying the city around them in the process. An important thing about Skibidi Toilet is it contains no dialogue. All of this is brought out in visuals and music. Children love it. Some even have themed birthday parties or dress as characters from the show for Halloween. Most people write it off as senseless brain rot made to entertain technology-addicted kids.
Did you disrespect Skibidi Toilet?
Yes, I did. But you don't understand.
Why? Why did you do this?
He just has Elriz.
He's a Sigma.
But it's way deeper than that. I suspect that this show was never meant for children in the first place. The TikToker and Know Your Meme editor Aiden Walker did a whole series analyzing each season of the show and called it one of the great works of the 2020s. His reasoning for this was its layered critiques of the arms race and escalation of global conflicts and the increased surveillance of living in a technological society in which we are able to witness incredible tragedies through our phone screens. Here's one of his clips for reference.
Skibidi this, skibidi that, skibidi do you even know the lore? I'm reviewing every season of Skibidi Toilet so I can convince you that it is one of the great works of art of the 2020s. I have a master's degree in literature focusing on internet memes, and I've been an editor at Know Your Meme for the past 2 years. On the surface, Skibidi Toilet is deceptively simple, but it deals with really big themes. The horrors of war, the perils of technological progress, and who it really serves. And then, most interestingly to me, the feeling of bearing witness through a screen. Kids are aware of what's happening in the atmosphere around us. And I think because Skibidi Toilet speaks to these themes, these anxieties and uncertainties that are all around us all the time, that's why it really appealed to the Gen Alpha demographic.
Walker has a point here. Even in what seems like meaningless children's entertainment, the grotesque realities of our time are reinterpreted through the lens of nonsensical combinations of humans and inanimate objects, fighting an unending war with each other for no reason whatsoever. Bosch spent years on his paintings. Dafuk Boom spent countless hours creating his videos. But with the advent of AI-generated images, voiceovers, and video, creators can churn out content non-stop with little to no effort. The popular Italian brainrot characters are a series of AI-generated images of animals and human-like inanimate objects with short text-to-speech voiceovers, usually written in Italian, but sometimes Indonesian or other languages, describing each character and a weird scenario they're in.
Bombardiro crocodilo. Un fottuto alligatore volante che vola e bombarda I bambini a Gaza e in Palestina.
The origin of these characters is unclear, but they've gained millions of views and become a sort of internet folklore. AI is complicated. A lot of people hate it. You've probably seen those Jesus images and other crap all over Facebook that boomers think are real. Deepfakes can be dangerous. AI video and art is rightfully criticized as taking work away from real artists. But this is going to be controversial, and I don't care. AI has its place. It will never replace human artists, but when used with a human touch as a tool in a larger project, it can create some interesting things. The creator Luca Maxim is a good example. While much of the videos he makes are AI generated, there's significant editing involved, and the writing is clearly done by a real person. He often takes on various issues in the news or gives commentaries on random internet memes or stories about various different countries and types of people who live in them. I'm gonna be honest, I still haven't figured out if this voiceover is actually him speaking or an AI voice clone.
All cities are walkable when you walk. People complain about American cities but don't realize you can simply stride along the interstate flanked by 18-wheelers and Dodge Rams. The lion does not concern himself with 65 miles per hour traffic.
Either way, creators like this are able to take AI, which is normally used to generate meaningless slop, and elevate it to its own unique art form that doesn't replace human creators, but rather has its own place in the media landscape. AI is bad in most contexts, but in rare cases like Luca Maxim, it becomes meaningful. The famous ancient Greek philosopher Socrates challenged the social norms of his time. His pupils, especially Plato, documented his life and often used him as a mouthpiece for their own ideas. In modern brainrot, AI voice clones do something similar, turning well-known people or fictional characters into avatars for the creator's own commentary. But don't take my word for it. Here's what Haley Welch and Jojo Siwa had to say about Socrates on the Talk to a podcast.
Burrito, we ought to offer a cock to Asclepius. See to it, and don't forget. In his final words before death, Socrates referred to the Greek god of medicine, as tradition was to sacrifice a rooster in exchange for good health, leading many to believe he was comparing life itself to a disease, and the poison he drank was the cure. But the true meaning of his last words have been subject to debate for millennia.
Wait, if Unk died like 3,000 years ago, how do we know if those were even his words? Sounds fake, but okay.
You bring up a good point, Jojo. The only surviving records of the existence of Socrates are third-party sources, most of which come from his pupils Plato and Xenophon, in which Socrates is present as a character in the works, presenting himself as a simple man with no knowledge. However, it is almost impossible to distinguish if the words spoken by Socrates in these works are those of Socrates himself or those of the author.
Okay, and why does it matter which old dead white guy said what? And how does this affect the Talk to Up podcast?
Think of it this way. Our physical forms may not matter, but the ideas we express do. So whether or not Socrates actually compared life to a disease, or if it was a literary device used by Plato to express his own views, does not matter. The idea itself is what's important, that life is suffering, and the only way to end that suffering is to transcend into the spiritual realm.
Not gonna lie, if a blank account with no profile pic and 3 followers said that shit, I'd scroll past, but if Miley Cyrus reposts it, of course I'm gonna watch.
Exactly. Plato knew that if he presented his words and ideas through the character of Socrates, they might hold more weight to readers. Socrates was seen as a martyr and a rebel at the time, sentenced to death for corrupting the youth.
Dude, that's hella dope. So, Lil Bro was just using his boss's image to chase clout for himself. That's a pro gamer move right there.
Scholars debate it to this day, but people may not have cared about Plato in his own right. But as Plato, a student of Socrates, presenting his work through the words of his master, the ideas themselves are more easily communicated. Xiao Hong Shu.
If I presented these words to you as some random bitch yapping into my camera, it wouldn't pack the same punch. But frame them as if they're coming from the Talk to a podcast, and suddenly absurdity and recognition amplify the message. Similarly, people respond better to Peter Griffin teaching about auto repair or US presidents playing video games. The familiarity with the characters and the surreal nature of having them talk about random nonsense is much more memorable. The remixing and reuse of likenesses of well-known characters is a key part of brainrot art, but sometimes even obscure and forgotten characters can take on a life of their own. A good example of this is the phenomenon that was Five-ish. Also known as Yap Dollar, he was originally a mascot for the Jewish children's charity URA. In 2024, the surrealist artist known as Prognos Pagodi started using him in their content. Their videos take various clips, often translations from the Chinese social media app Xiaohongshu, and have them spoken by random characters like Red Scare host Dasha and Anna, New York Mayor Eric Adams, and Christian children's TV show character Gerbert. At some point, other users began to copy Prognos Pagodi's work, specifically using the likeness and voice of Five-ish, this time rebranded as Yap Dollar, and transformed it into increasingly more absurd content, exploiting the hallucinations common in AI voice cloning software to make them stutter, and sometimes slip back into the original Mandarin.
But have you ever thought about what can withstand the fatal blow of a hydraulic press that can crush everything? The common transition paper in life ever give him a chance to ride a bicycle, and he can scare the female driver to tears. Seeing that the man was safe and sound, netizens commented, "In New York, I Millie Rock hide it in my sock. And my fine brother is showing that the car has heart palpitations when it gets too excited, but that's why I'm here to tell you that Galaxy gas ain't it. Chat, is this real? Screw! Hong Shu!
But the drama goes much deeper, and for that, I'll turn to a 1959 conversation between Robert Moses and his good friend Gilmore D. Clark.
He was a talking $5 bill, and he would talk over random Chinese videos in poorly translated English. And the AI-generated voice would stutter sometimes or start speaking in the original Mandarin. People loved him. He taught netizens about science, travel, consumer goods, and manufacturing. He even found an OXO-branded lighter on a trip to Mexico. But then a second version of him showed up, seemingly out of nowhere. This one started saying racial slurs. He got louder and more obnoxious. This led to controversy. Nobody knows quite how it started, but we all know exactly how it ended.
Xiao Hong Shu.
His name was Five-ish, Gilmore. Pay him some respect. The battle raged on for days until his original employer, the Jewish children's charity URA, recalled him back to the heart of Brooklyn. Like when I displaced countless working class Black and Latino families to build the BQE, the Grand Central Parkway and the Inner Borough. The accounts carrying the word of Five-ish were wiped from the face of Instagram, leaving no trace of the landscape that existed just mere days before.
Bob, I think it's time for you to log off and touch some grass. Xiao Hong Shu.
Minecraft parkour, Subway Surfers insert, BeamNG Drive car crash compilations, Roblox, and Fortnite chaos. Video games themselves have become used as a tool for creation, stretched well beyond their intended use to make unhinged content. Sometimes it's as simple as using game footage as a neutral background beneath commentary. Other times, the game is modded, chopped up, and edited to tell a story or just pump out nonsensical scenes. And then there's the split screen format, where endless streams of Subway Surfers or GTA stunts run underneath unrelated videos, hijacking your attention span by giving your brain just one more thing to lock in. Gaming footage goes beyond simply playing the game. It becomes a paintbrush that, when combined with other clips, images, sounds, and music, creates new art forms entirely. It may look like stupid brain rot, but you gotta admit, it's kind of revolutionary.
Listen here, you motherfucker. You orange skin looking bitch. I'm gonna shove a missile in your ass and blow it up. Hey, no one messes with the Joe Meister. No one messes with the Joe Meister.
I'm gonna come.
You just gonna take that? He fucking shit on you, bro.
Although, I may be biased. After all, you're talking to the idiot that makes those stupid truck simulator stories about your buddy Gooch and his crazy antics.
Day in the life of a South Bay baby girl. What's up, Tiffany? Want to get some boba together? Kevin Nguyen won't stop blowing up your phone. That new spot in Santa Clara has La Boo Boo matcha flavor. I know it's your favorite. Even though he's still paying the loan on your Civic, you want nothing to do with that creep after he ran out the battery on your Geek Bar. Besides, you've had to avoid your usual hangouts because he won't stop showing up in his trademark black t-shirt and gold chain. The last safe spot to grab a drink in all of San Jose is none other than Caravan. Kevin would never set foot in a place like that. It's kind of a dive, but not so bad. Even though you don't normally date white guys, Campbell taught you how to play pool. You stop at the gas station on Coleman to fill up your tank, and when you insert your debit card, you get the dreaded please see cashier. Oh well, maybe they've got a few of the frozen white grape geeks left inside. No dice. All they had was flume. Tobacco flavor. Yuck. Still better than the American spirits Campbell had when he took you to the Earthquakes game last week. Feeling defeated, you sit in your car, tears streaming down your face while trying to get the Pop Mart app to load. A crybaby would fix you right now. Just then, a friendly stranger who calls himself Old Man Hayward asks if you're in the market for some flavored vapes. Finally, you've been saved. Gooch Bar? What the hell is this? But for $50, you have no choice but to pick one up before they're gone forever. While walking back to your car, you can't believe what you're seeing. Is that Campbell with that slut Vivian Tran? Oh hell no, you're ready to throw hands. Campbell insists she's just a friend. Vivian's hella nasty, dude. Don't lie to me. You don't care. His homie's already slid into your DMs. You're gonna ask him to take you to Pure. You hear he's got the best Molly in town. After a night on the dance floor, you forget exactly what happened, but wake up in the apartment of the legendary Kevin Nguyen. I love you, Vivian. I mean Tiffany. See you at Valley Fair later, haha, he says as you leave. You need to stop dating these fuckboys. How did he mistake you for Vivian? You're not even Asian.
So why does any of this matter? Online brain rot content may seem like overstimulating, vapid, mass-produced trash. But beneath the surface, it reflects broader anxieties about modern society, technological change, and political upheaval. Unlike previous forms of art, the barrier to entry is practically non-existent. Often the original authors of brain rot content are anonymous or unknown. It functions like a type of modern folklore where anybody can contribute to an ongoing conversation and participate in what historians may look back on as a legitimate art movement. Or maybe they'll just point to it as a symptom of societal collapse. Probably both, to be honest. So keep on scrolling, load up Capcut, clone your favorite politician, or pump out weird AI-generated cats. Because no matter what the gatekeepers of culture say, brain rot is a art.